Rituals are going to create discipline, they're going to produce results, and they're going to produce confidence. And confidence expands your freedom to design the life you really want. You don't need dramatic overhauls to get moving in the right direction. You just need consistent actions repeated every single day. This is commitments and consistency that we're talking about. So, as you begin to integrate daily rituals into your life, remember that perfection is not required. There's going to be days that, you don't get to it, and days that you're going to have a hard time. Be patient with yourself. What matters is always coming back and realizing that you have a structure and that you don't want to stop. Don't quit. Consistency over time, not flawless execution. That's what's going to create lasting change. Think of rituals as your anchors. Even when water's getting rough, they keep you from drifting off course and going in the wrong direction. Welcome back to the Daily Mastermind. George Wright III with your daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and education. And I want to talk to you this Monday morning, hoping to get your week off to a great start. I hope you had a great weekend and you're excited about this week. But I want to talk to you about one of our prosperity pillars. And as you know, on Mondays, I like to talk about timeless principles and things that you can carry throughout your week, throughout your life, in order to set up that clarity, focus, and discipline you need in your mindset in order to take things to the next level. And so today I want to talk to you about daily rituals, which is prosperity pillar number 10. And for those of you that aren't familiar with the pillars, after about 30 years of working with some of the best thought leaders, experts, and individuals out there that I know, I distilled it down to 12 pillars of prosperity that I think you need as a foundation in your life in order to really create your best life. And on Mondays, I like to focus on those, but also apply it to our listeners, which are entrepreneurs, business owners, investors, thought leaders, high achievers. And so today actually lines right up with the purpose of the Daily Mastermind, which is that I did it for one of my own daily rituals. And so let's talk a little bit about this idea that you create daily rituals, because why are daily rituals so important? Why do they matter? Well, because success is not built on what you do occasionally, it's built on what you do consistently. And most people think breakthroughs come from massive action, big opportunities, or sudden inspiration. But in reality, the trajectory of your life is shaped by the small actions you repeat every single day. Daily rituals remove the need to decide, negotiate, or rely on motivation. They help you create structure, they create momentum. And most importantly, they carry you forward on days when you don't feel like showing up. Because let's be honest, none of us really feel motivated all the time. There's, mornings that you're tired, distracted, overwhelmed, discouraged. And the difference between people who move forward and people who stall out is not intelligence. It's not talent or luck. It's just consistency. And, successful individuals design daily practices that move them towards their goals, regardless of their mood, their circumstances, their emotions. And over time, those practices become automatic. They become part of who you are. You've probably heard a quote from James Clear where he said, "You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems." And daily rituals are those systems. Tony Robbins a lot of times says that, success leaves clues, and those clues are found in the daily habits of high performers. So you look at it, you go back even 1,000 years ago, Aristotle taught that excellence is not an act, but a habit. And, across history, industries, cultures, one truth will always remain constant, and that is repeated action will produce predictable results. So rituals create what some, performance experts call automatic victory conditions. They stack the odds in your favor before the day even begins. That's why I always recommend starting your day with those daily rituals. It's important to understand, though, that there's a difference between habits and rituals. Habits are behaviors that become automatic over time, whether it's intentional or not. You can have good habits, bad habits, and everything in between. Rituals, on the other hand, are purposeful. They're consciously chosen practices tied to a specific outcome or the identity that you're hoping to emulate. And so a ritual, it anchors your day. It creates a mental, emotional, or physical foundation that supports everything you do. And without daily rituals, life just will feel reactive. You wake up and respond to emails and putting out fires and other people's agendas. But with rituals, you're basically telling yourself, I'm going to start from a position of intention. And you're directing your day instead of being pulled through it. And one of the first things you need to consider when you're looking at your daily rituals is the timing of your daily rituals. The goal here is not just to throw them in your day. The time of day you choose can dramatically influence your success with your daily rituals and your routines. And so a lot of people find that morning rituals are especially powerful because they set the tone for the day. That's what I like. And there might be daily rituals you have throughout the day, but when you begin the day with clarity, focus, intention, you're going to build momentum. You're going to win the day. And so when you start and you get up in the morning, you're scattered or rushed or reactive, or you pull your phone out, you're just constantly going to be playing catch up most of the day. And that doesn't mean you have to wake up at 3 or 4 in the morning. I'm not one of those guys, trust me. But there's no universal hour that guarantees your results. But consistency of when you get up is a key. The key is to just, when it comes to your daily rituals, it's choose the time that you can sustain consistently, because consistency is the key. No matter what the clock says, it's your commitment. So just keep that in mind. The timing is important. Now, another critical factor is simplicity. One of the biggest mistakes entrepreneurs make is they try to do too much all at once. And they create this elaborate routine. Look, I've done it too. I do it still sometimes, actually. 10 or 15 different things I want to do: meditation, journaling, reading, exercise, affirmations, planning, visualization, all these things. Look, for a few days, you might be able to maintain that. But then life jumps in and the routine becomes overwhelming, and then you abandon your rituals. So a small number of meaningful practices is far more effective and important than a long list that you're not going to sustain. So when you simplify, you actually increase the likelihood of consistency, and consistency is where your transformation is going to happen. So small actions repeated daily, compounding over time, you're going to get extraordinary results. And, equally important is targeting rituals that actually address what you need. It's not just about doing what all of the gurus and thought leaders you're listening to are saying. It's tempting to copy the routines of those successful people. But when you're doing this, what works for someone else may not be what actually transforms and moves you forward. So your rituals should support your goals, your challenges, your stage of life, where it is you are. And that's another thing, is as you move throughout life, you might have to change these, because the goal is, you're trying to create a result. And if your biggest obstacle is lack of energy, physical movement might be the one. If your challenge is lack of clarity, maybe it's planning or journaling. And if you struggle with stress or emotional overwhelm, mindfulness or quiet time could be transformative for you. So growth happens when your rituals strengthen your weakest areas and accelerate your most important priorities. So prepare your environment ahead of time. Make sure that it's easy for you to do these things. Lay out your clothes ahead of time if you're going to go to the gym early. Keep books or journals ready access. I like to have things in my phone and in folders so that I can pull it out. Remove the friction so that following through becomes the path of least resistance for you. It's so critical to use methods that actually work for you and make it easy for you. Now, keep in mind, there's no single correct way to practice personal development. Some people absorb information by reading, others, like audiobooks and podcasts. Some people thrive with silent meditation, while others need guided sessions. I encourage you to try different things. The goal is not to follow someone else's formula perfectly. The goal is to engage in practices you will actually do consistently that will produce results for you. And personalization dramatically increases the fact that you're going to stick to them. So when a ritual feels natural to you and effective for you, you're going to keep doing it long term. And now the other thing I'll mention to you is a suggestion is tracking and measuring is another really powerful thing you can do. What gets measured gets improved. And when your rituals are tracked, you bring awareness to your behavior and you move from this vague intention of, journaling or meditation to some concrete actions. And so this doesn't have to be complicated. It could be as simple as just a checkbox of getting it done or logging it in a journal. But elite performers track everything from their workouts to productivity to sleep, because data will reveal patterns. And it shows you what you're doing that's working and where adjustments need to be made. And so just keep in mind that measuring, it's very important, but it also creates some accountability. I mean, let's be honest, when you see a streak building, you're a little bit more motivated. And over time, consistency will help you to build your identity as well. That sense of pride and accomplishment, feeling like you're accomplishing things you set out and made commitments to do. And the deeper impact of daily rituals goes even beyond productivity, because rituals will shape who you become. And that's what I suggest you do. Is, if what would the future version of yourself, the more developed version of yourself, do for rituals? And just keep in mind, as you follow through on these daily rituals, your self-trust is going to increase, and that means your confidence is going to increase. And confidence is going to enable you to make bigger decisions, take better actions, and pursue bigger goals. But when you break your promises to yourself, doubt's going to set in. This is why I keep talking about the fact that you need to have daily rituals that are simple, easy, no friction, because rituals are a very powerful way to reverse self-doubt. They provide you that daily win. If you want to stack the wins, create daily rituals. You don't just perform these, you are actually becoming the person that shows up and does these daily rituals. And if you're wondering where to start with daily rituals, let's say you don't have some right now, a helpful approach is simply to choose a few practices that you're going to commit to every day and just start getting the wins. Just start stacking the wins. You don't have to have anything major. In fact, start small. Sometimes that's the best way to just get a strategy going. You might dedicate, for example, just a specific period of time to plan your day so that you operate with intention rather than reaction. You might include some type of exercise or energy in the morning. I recommend that. You might spend time reading or listening to an audiobook or something. You could even reflect and do journaling, and this could be in the morning or the evening. The specific activity is not the point. Of course, different things will help you to be more successful and grow, but remember, this is commitments and consistency that we're talking about. So, as you begin to integrate daily rituals into your life, remember that perfection is not required. There's going to be days that, you don't get to it, and days that you're going to have a hard time. Be patient with yourself. What matters is always coming back and realizing that you have a structure and that you don't want to stop. Don't quit. Consistency over time, not flawless execution. That's what's going to create lasting change. Think of rituals as your anchors. Even when water's getting rough, they keep you from drifting off course and going in the wrong direction. Rituals are going to create discipline. They're going to produce results, and they're going to produce confidence. And confidence expands your freedom to design the life you really want. You don't need dramatic overhauls to get moving in the right direction. You just need consistent actions repeated every single day. So do me a favor and choose practices that align with your goals, your energy, your reality. Commit to them, track them, adjust them if you need to. But most importantly, just keep showing up. And as you move into the rest of this week, I would really encourage you to get specific, make a decision, make a commitment, have resolve to the fact that you are going to incorporate daily rituals into your life, and you're not going to let anything else stand in your way of creating the life that you are meant to live. It's never too late to start creating that life. So that's my message for today. I hope if you're not consistently taking advantage of daily rituals right now, you will incorporate those into your day. I think it's going to be a major game changer for you. And by the way, if you have not already, make sure you're following the podcast. We got some great stuff coming up. We were able to get some great interviews you'll be getting this week. We've got one from some powerful thought leaders. We've got a silver Olympic medalist, won silver in the Olympics. We've got some, I had the opportunity to interview Grant Cardone and spend an hour with him. And so we've got some nuggets from him. Listen, there's a lot of cool stuff coming up. So please do me a favor, follow the show, share the show. If you've gotten anything out of it at all, help us share, the Daily Mastermind. Let's build the community and let's help other people just like we're helping each other. That's my message for today. I hope you have an amazing day. Once again, my name is George Wright III, and this has been the Daily Mastermind. Talk soon.